This is All India Radio. Please stand by for our next program.
This is All India Radio. You will now hear comments from the press. Hindustan Times in its editorial title, The NDA's New Power Equation says, to understand how much Indian politics has evolved, compare three versions of National Democratic Alliance NDA. The NDA of 1998, when it was originally conceived with Atal Bihari Vajpayee as the face. The NDA of 2014, when Narendra Modi became the mascot of the Bharatiya Janata Party. And the NDA of 2019, after its Lok Sabha election victory. The BJP has of course remained the anchor of the alliance throughout. But in the 1990s, it was a senior partner which needed allies to be able to form the government. Power was relatively equally distributed in the coalition. In 2014, when few thought that Mr. Modi would actually get a majority, the BJP considered the NDA an important instrument to expand its base and serve as an insurance policy if its own seats fell short. Today, after Mr. Modi has won a second term, the government is officially that of the NDA, but there is no doubt that it is a truly BJP government with the party committed to pursuing its ideological agenda. This shift in power equations within the NDA has had major implications for the BJP's relations with its smaller allies. This is now most visible in Maharashtra, which goes to polls soon, and Bihar, which goes to polls next year. In both states, the BJP has had long-standing allies, the Shiv Sena in Maharashtra and the Janata Dal United in Bihar. While both the parties accepted the BJP's supremacy at the center, in their respective states, the two regional parties have been the senior partner in the past. The Pioneer, in its editorial title, Howdy NRIs, writes, there's no doubt that non-resident Indians, NRIs, have been assets to host countries. But now they can be the nation's valued spokespersons, lobbyists and ambassadors and project our face to the world. As the United Nations International Migrant Stock Report has declared the Indian diaspora to be the biggest with a total strength of 17.5 million. Though we have been topping the diaspora chart in recent times, what is commendable is that we have been able to maintain our spot despite stringent visa norms by some nations. This pool represents a little over 6% of the total global migrant population. The latest report comes ahead of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Howdy event in Houston, where he is expected to address a 50,000-strong congregation of NRIs, a constituency that even US President Donald Trump cannot ignore as he hopes to cultivate numbers for his re-election campaign. With the US imposing strict migration norms, the number of Indians migrating to the United Arab Emirates outnumbered those of the US, clearly pointing out that you cannot put down an enterprising Indian. This despite a 21% decline in the number of immigration clearances to the UAE. For some time now, Asian nations have sought to tap into their diaspora to present their case to the Western majors, convince them of their growth potential, procure funding and improve technical know-how. It is the intense engagement with the diaspora that has helped us score many points in both international and soft diplomacy, strengthened our brand and reshaped perceptions. India is among the largest remittance receiving countries in the world, with NRIs flowing back $80 billion back home. The Indian Express, in its editorial title, Vaporized, writes, smoking is injurious to health and the use of tobacco products has been linked to a host of diseases, including various cancers and cardiovascular ailments. According to WHO, tobacco causes over 10 million deaths annually in India. In the US, the figure stands at 480,000. Vaping, or the use of e-cigarettes called ENDS or electronic nicotine delivery systems, has resulted so far in 7 confirmed deaths in the US. Cigarettes, chewing tobacco and related products continue to be legal in India, and through being heavily taxed as well as via the government stake in domestic tobacco giants, significantly add to the earnings of the exchequer. However, on Wednesday, the union government announced an ordinance banning ENDS. In terms of first principle as well as the purported concern for citizens' health, the ban on e-cigarettes smacks of hypocrisy and an arbitrary exercise of executive authority. The promulgation of the prohibition of electronic cigarettes ordinance provides for imprisonment of up to 1 year and or fines up to 1 lakh rupees for the first offence, imprisonment of up to 3 years and a fine of up to 5 lakh rupees for a subsequent offence. Those possessing ENDS must suo motu turn them over at the local police station, else face the harsh consequences of the executive decree. The Tribune, in its editorial title, Dirty Bharat, writes, even as the country gears up to celebrate the 150th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi, the Supreme Court has turned the spotlight on what the father of the nation called a blot on humanity, untouchability. The apex court lamented that caste discrimination existed even over 70 years after independence, exemplified by the inhuman and life-endangering practices of manual scavenging and manhole cleaning. Will any of you shake hands with them, manual scavengers? The bench asked, pulling up the government for not providing protective gear like masks and oxygen cylinders to people involved in declogging sewers. Those were the comments from the press, presented to you by the News Services Division of All India Radio.